The third category that we look at are teenagers and children. So with teenagers and children, pretty much, they can do every exercise except, for example, if you have a child who's prone to very severe asthma. We just go a little bit more gently there with the breath holds, because we don't want them to hold their breath to the point that it causes a disruption to their breathing. So we just go a little bit easier. But the same exercises, unblock the nose. Talk about the importance of light breathing. Breathing should be through the nose at all times, even during physical exercise. Children over 5-6 years of age, and of course, when the parents are comfortable with wearing the tape at night. The other option is that the child is mouth breathing all night, and it's only going to contribute to their symptoms. So what I'd suggest is that have the child used to nasal breathing for a few days, keeping the mouth closed, getting used to the exercises, and then when they're comfortable, put on a little piece of paper tape when they're watching television, or maybe when they're doing their homework. So just getting them used to wearing the tape, and then, ask them if you're comfortable, of course, with it, and of course if the child is comfortable to wear the tape at night, but the child has to be a certain age, ideally, a minimum of 5 years of age, and ideally if they're 10, 11, 12, etc., that the child then is comfortable taking the tape off during the night if they wish to. And also, of course, it goes without saying, if they have a tummy upset, you don't wear the tape. So you could try to tape down vertically as opposed to horizontally, and it's really just, we want to help restore nasal breathing. Christian Guilleminault recently, he stated that, to address sleep apnea in children, it means restoration of nasal breathing both during the day and also during sleep. So it's very, very important. We also have children and teenagers do exercise number 3, 4, number 5 is probably their main one, is number 5. That's the steps exercise. So a simplified program for children and teenagers would be to do, 6 to 12, maybe 18 repetitions of steps per day, depending on their severity. So they could do 6 repetitions of steps in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, and 6 maybe, later in the evening. Or for example, if you don't have the time to do 18 repetitions of steps per day, do 2 sets of 6. The steps should increase by about 10 extra every week, and the goal is to reach 80 to 100 steps. So with a child and with a teenager, it's the importance of breathing through the nose. Helps concentration, helps sleep, helps craniofacial development, helps with sports, helps with overall behaviour. And because we know that if the child is mouth breathing, that it can very much disrupt their sleep. And then of course the child then could be labelled with ADHD, for example, due to having poor sleep, where really the issue is that their sleep is off, as opposed to this psychological label that's been attached to the child. I say to the parents that come into me with ADHD, I say the first thing we should be looking at is, how is the child sleeping? How is the teenager sleeping? And ensuring the importance that the child understands about light breathing and breathing through the nose. And also, of course, it's a family affair, because if we're teaching a child to breathe through the nose, but if mom and dad are walking around with the mouth open, it's not going to do much, because we're sending mixed messages. So really, if we get the family on board and we get the child breathing through the nose and the tongue resting up in the roof of the mouth, it's huge, and it's huge for the development of the child and for the teenager in every way. We cannot let our teenagers breathe through their mouths, because it's not going to do them any justice in any shape or form.